At Indy, we realize that life insurance should be less about death and disability and more about life, which is why we match up to 100% of your monthly premium and put it into an investment that creates wealth for your future. It's world-class cover and a growing investment from just 100 Rand per month. That's how you reinvent life insurance. Learn more at getindy.co.za/radio. Indy is a department within Sanlam Life Insurance Limited, a licensed FSP.
19 minutes after 6. Welcome to Fresh Breakfast on Metro FM. It is famous Fresh Fridays. Steve Komphela is a South African manager and former footballer. He's the former manager of Maritzburg United and Free State Stars and former coach at Kaizer Chiefs. Steve was once a Bafana captain. He was also captain of the biggest team on the continent, if not just South Africa, Kaizer Chiefs. Steve also coached the national team. He was born in Golden Valley Farm outside Kroonstad as the youngest of 11 children. He became a teacher by profession after he got his teacher's diploma at Chia College in the Free State. Please make some noise for the king of Komphelarisms, Steve Komphela. Eta coach?
Grootmane, good morning.
Shapuzit.
No Galaxies.
Did you have any idea how many fans you have out there, sir?
Yo, I only realized yesterday. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And little did I know that you are the one who made me famous.
Nobody makes Steve famous but Steve.
No, I couldn't believe it. The number of messages, even this morning as I was driving here.
Yes.
Ngwana Grootmanaka says to me, please, uncle, I want to listen. You don't sleep. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to start listening from 6 o'clock.
Yes,
it's amazing.
Done.
But thanks for the invite, guys. And I really appreciate.
Thank you.
And at a time where at least
Coach.
one has a bit of a break.
Exactly.
Yes.
Let's go back to Golden Valley.
Yo.
Tell us about growing up in a house with 11 children.
Firstly,
Yes.
how that house was built.
Yes.
And you won't believe, never ibitsa ho foroma stain.
Yes.
When they had to bring a framework, it's more of a steel.
So you made your own bricks.
Yes, you
Yes.
make that. Now, the essence thereof is how you mix the mud.
Yes.
If it is too soft and too wet, it collapses.
Sure.
And if it is too dry, then it's no brick.
Form.
You sound like you're evaluating a game.
I knew this was coming. You know, the question, I didn't know you were going to fire this one.
Yes.
But immediately when I go back and think of how then it came about, building that muddy house.
Yes.
And also our parents, mom and dad never went to school. My mom worked in the kitchen.
Sure.
Daddy was just a laborer. And many of our black brothers have the same story.
Sure.
But at the end, as you relate to the story, is inspiration to the ones who are alongside and those who are still within, who are striving hard to survive. It was that.
Yes.
3:30. I didn't know that I could wake up 3:30, 4:30, but only for Metro FM.
Yeah.
I used to wake up and milk cows. When you also you get nothing. And
Sure.
as you milking these cows, your boss is just checking that, hey, these people don't steal milk.
Oh, yes.
But we used to steal milk. Because if I milk these cows, the ones at home who are dying of poverty, how then would they survive?
Exactly.
Now, listen to this one. Unbelievable. When we go to work in our green overalls.
How old were you at the time? Do you remember?
Yes, I don't know. Just even before I could go to my sub A, grade 1.
Yeah.
Now, what happened when you go to this farmhouse, you carry this 5 liter on your back so that it doesn't show that you have a belly that is just out of this world.
Oh, yes.
On your way back home, you carry it from the front so that when they look from, it's a tact strategy.
Yes.
So from that age, you learn how to survive. Little did I know that at some stage of my life, such teachings, wisdoms, lessons would be carried through. And that's how we carry our lives even today.
You have 10 siblings.
Yo.
Did you have to fight for
Football
attention
club.
from your parents? You were born for soccer, apparently.
Hey, dot. And I'm the last one.
Yeah.
You know, put fresh, it's amazing. 11 of us. But all that I learned from that was that how we used to share in the same bowl. It's a spirit of Africanism. Africans will always share. There's nothing like night laziako when you have your plate. No. Now, we're very tactful, 11 of us. I was the youngest. Now, what I would do is that as we are eating papa galibis, papa and milk, I make it a point that I must come up with some strategy, something that will make all of these guys around this bowl to move away.
Hey, Pella, you're the smallest.
Yes.
Yeah.
I eat and I extend my head just inside the bowl so that I can spill inside.
Oh, wow.
So, you gotta be smart. Otherwise, you'll never survive. Now, as you stretch and you extend, as it drops into the bowl, as they go about, because I eat very slow, then I have all the time with the bowl myself.
So you've always been a man of strategy.
Without strategy, you go nowhere.
Yes.
Without strategy, everything is about strategy.
Sure.
And some of these, they don't come from your own little thinking, but they come from experiences and the ultimate instinct to survival. How do I survive this? Hey, how do I? You keep searching and checking, and as you search and Google, you'll find it within yourself. There's a Google machine inside of you.
Sure.
But you have to release that Google machine.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, Steve, listen to your story, like I can just sit here for 3 hours and let you talk.
There's one you don't know, where I used to dip my feet in a cow dung.
It was warm. Pellet was warm.
It was warm.
Yes.
In winter, you have to walk down the field and you can see it's ice white.
Yeah.
Feet are cold. You got nothing. So the only way for you, again, strategy. Hey, how do I warm my feet? And these cows are there. Then you dip your feet in hot dung.
I can relate to that.
Thank you.
It's the warmest feeling ever.
I can imagine. I can only imagine. You
can't relate.
No, I can't. So, Steve, with all this happening, you are young, you are in the rural, I'm assuming. Yeah. How far are your dreams? Like, because sometimes we underestimate the power of dreams.
Yes.
Yes. The dream is not about where you are at the moment, but how far are your dreams at that time? Yeah. Are you thinking 4 ways mall, or are you thinking
just to get to
the next block?
Are you thinking Klerksdorp? I must just make it to Klerksdorp.
Grootman,
Yeah.
At that stage, listen, the ability to be exposed opens lots of possibilities and horizon, even in your thinking. But lack thereof, all that you know is the beautiful hazy, the rondavel, where there's crates of Coca-Cola, Beltong and all that. You haven't seen much, but the stories you hear are from your immediate siblings. Now, you can see as far as the ones you can touch, the ones you can listen to. My brothers who would go to town and come back. So that's how far my dream could go. But one thing that I always wanted to have is to get educated, and I wanted to move away from this farm and do my standard 6 and start going to primary school and high school. But I had no vision. But forces, energy, and nature should never be underestimated. And do not say no to the forces of nature as they drag you. Because the minute you resist, it goes back to resistance has its limits.
Sure.
The minute you resist, you are denying yourself the opportunity to reach the ultimate destiny.
Yeah.
Amen.
And you've got a V8, but you're only using 2 cylinders. For what?
You know.
Thank you. V8.
Sorry, that's all I tried.
He is. He inspired me.
Yes.
To buy myself the Jeep Wrangler that I'm driving since 2005. And any man who keeps a car, as long as that,
I still have that car.
He still has it.
And I'm advising our sisters.
Yeah.
Keep a man who keeps their car for longer.
Because?
Go back to the old
dedication.
age. Yes.
Commitment.
Any man who keeps a car for a longer period is an indication of the kind of man who's likely to be in keeping you.
Born now.
28
minutes after 6. We're hanging out with Coach Steve Komphela. Metro FM is where you're at. 6:34, Famous Fresh Fridays on Metro FM. We're hanging out with Coach Steve Komphela. Fresh breakfast on Metro FM. It is 6:38. Famous Fresh Fridays, hanging out with Coach Steve Komphela. Bra Steve, so you're growing up near Klerksdorp.
Yes.
And Mama Koyi Koyo and Papa and Nomalanga Komphela are doing the best they can with 11 kids.
Yes.
How did you break out of that?
Sure.
And why did you decide teaching was the way to go?
First, teaching, nursing, all these professions
Yes.
were more of easy access. And if you were lucky enough, you would have been a doctor.
Oh, yes.
Then it would come into law, lawyers, whatever.
Yes.
But teaching was the immediate one, and nursing.
Yes.
And my mom and dad, I don't even know how much they earned. But the last time I think I was told it was more of a 20 rand. But then they would have to wait for August when it was time for harvest.
Ah, yes.
Then they would be given their, I don't know what you call that in English.
The
ration.
stipend.
Yeah, stipend.
Yes.
Then you'd get certain number of bags of meal.
Oh, yes.
But the system was just, but in terms of managing money.
But the system was built so that you depend on it.
Yes.
The system wasn't built to inspire you to get out.
It was crazy. No.
Yes.
And which is why we still have to be emancipated from such thinking. And there's nothing as difficult as wanting to survive within a system that you built in. You can't survive your DNA.
Yes.
Now you are wired in a way that you must be dependent. Now how do you survive that? Now,
Sure.
one thing that struck me there was how they could cope. That my dad had a Toyota Mark II. There was a car like that.
I remember the Mark II, yes.
Yeah, my dad. We were they're very organized, very poor but organized, which I think is what instills some sort of ambition, discipline, and desire for success in us. Otherwise, we would have perished. Now, unomalanga, my mom, ukoyo, my dad, may their souls rest in peace. They were more of your 4-man, 4-lady on a farm. Then it tells me that maybe positions of leadership, you're born and you're not made for it.
True.
And if you're a made leader, very soon it comes out. But if you're a born leader, irrespective circumstances, you still come through.
True.
And they were there and they led us through that. But farming is good. There's lots of money there, and black people must get into farming.
Yeah.
And Julia's right. We cannot claim anything up until we claim the land. That I was in Turkey.
Yes.
The ownership of land and soil. Even our previous people who lived before 1994 understood that the soil you're standing on is something special.
Yeah.
And they respected that. Up until we Africans, indigenous Africans, understand the essence of the soil, the land, then we shall thrive. Up until we understand that, we should just forget. We're just playing games. Now, when it comes to Indabaya, the earnings, Kamama, no Baba, it was just pathetic. But they brought up 11 people. And that I got into teaching was just out of, I survived my primary. When I went to the location, my brother, Uputana, was then there. He hosted me, but he was harassed severely by police. That's why I can have a problem. If you knock hard by my door, I go crazy because
But that's how you lived with your brother.
I lived nicely with my brother, but police would kick the door 3 o'clock in the morning, and they take the mattress and everything, throw it up and down, and they leave. And I have to go to school 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
The trauma. So when you knock by my door, I go crazy if the knock is too hard. Even in an hotel, I request the ladies, maybe please iron my shirt. When they can say, please, when you come back, just a subtle knock and I can hear you. But any hard knock, I go mad. I just lose it because kinale that trauma. But it comes from the history and background, which I can't do anything about. I try and manage it, but it's my weakness. I don't like too much knocks.
Now, speaking of you being raised go Free State, sometimes you speak. What not nationality, but umugai?
Burdens and blessings are cousins.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a burden to be brought in the Free State.
Yeah.
It is a massive blessing because you speak all the languages.
Sure.
That's why they are cousins. So mna ndingumXhosa ekhaya.
Okay.
Umama notata ngamaXhosa sakhula sithetha isiXhosa. Bekiya kusikolweni sabaSotho kuKulmain.
Okay.
Even like yako primary le secondary niketsa Sesotho. And then at high school, then they would say there's a period where you don't speak your mother tongue, which in my opinion, I still believe, I have my doubts. Why should it be? Why can't I speak mother tongue? Why should Ronaldo and Messi speak Portuguese and Spanish fluently without being... But bazothi umzwile. We say happy birthday Steve, uthi happy birthday to you.
Exactly.
And speaking my language that I understand.
Yeah.
So growing in Kronstadt, in as much as there were challenges, you tend to interact with a lot of people. And I got about Soweto, they speak all languages, whether it's your Tsonga, whether it's your Venda and all that. And one thing I learned in Turkey, speaking a language of a person is a person added on you. When you speak Xhosa, you know how to behave the Xhosa way. You are Xhosa. How bua Sotho, o tseba ho phela ka tsela ya Basotho, o Mosotho. How bua English, you understand the English culture and you align yourself accordingly. So it adds a person in you each time you learn a language.
Then you wouldn't have struggled, in Turkey to pick up on the language.
Fluent. Turkish, I would speak as I do now. But I hitch problem yoktur. Turkey ras rahat konuşuyorum. Hiç sorun yok. Sorun yok. Somkaga.
Ukhulumisa somkaga man.
So that's Turkish. What are you saying?
I'm saying for me it's easy to speak Turkish. It's not difficult. Zor değil. It's like when you greet them, you say günaydın is good morning. Merhaba, hello. İyi akşamlar, good night. İyi misin? Are you okay? Hoş geldiniz, welcome.
Wow.
So,
Shaba ranks, I'm high.
What I'm gathering from what you're saying is the greatest respect you can pay someone is bothering to speak their language and understanding their language.
Done.
Then you can communicate and understand and relate.
I was relating a story with one of our technical members at Chiefs in terms of understanding the culture of a person you're dealing with.
Yes.
I'm saying amaZulu akithi ma ekhuluma nawe uzosondela la kuwena bese yakubheka angeke akubheke emehlweni ubheka phansi, not out of disrespect, but utmost respect.
True.
And if you don't understand that culture, you would think, but this guy is not honest. Why is he talking to me without looking into my eyes? Whereas for them, looking into your eyes is a sign of disrespect. Now, the minute you understand that, then you can navigate your way through. If you don't, you are going to pulverize and kill that particular person because you literally demand from them what they cannot offer.
We're hanging out with Coach Steve Komphela. This is Metro FM's famous Fresh Fridays. How did you get into soccer? We'll discuss that after this. Fresh Biz with Samkem Mhlongo. John Legend, a good night. 6:54, Fresh Breakfast on Metro FM. We're hanging out with legendary Steve Komphela on Fresh Breakfast. It's famous Fresh Fridays. Soccer, Bra Steve. When did soccer become this outlet? When did you realize, who realized that there's a talent here?
I think I would Fresh one, playing in the streets.
Yes.
Because on a very small farm where we grew up at night, maybe around 4:30 or 5, when we've come back from school, we used to travel about 10 Ks.
Yes, sir.
To and from school. And then when you arrive and then you go milking these cows, after that you come back and then we play. That's where we discovered the talent of playing soccer, like any other black child in South Africa. One after that, it was at school. We used to have school competitions, which I strongly believe if we can have that, it will help sports and talent in terms of football. There was a Milk Cup competition that we used to play then from the Department of Education. And then after the school sports...
So roughly what period is this? What year is this?
Then I'm sure I was doing my matric. 84, 85.
Okay.
Yes, 84, 85. But I had been playing sports even before that.
Yes.
I once attempted playing karate. I used to love sports because in the afternoons you have time. Now, with that time available and not much to do, lots of youth in the streets, then you would go on and play maybe one ball, even in the streets. I remember there were stages where you had to go for night studies. You must be at high school 10 to 7. But I'm telling you, up until 6:30, 20 to 7, we're still playing one ball. You go to night school, you reach there, you still sweaty. The passion for sports was there. So matric, and then I went to... After completing matric, I went to Klerksdorp City NFD. I played for Deis Wanyane's team.
Yes.
And in that process, I was working to one of the mines, trying to make some funds to go complete my education, because I realized that, you know what, because the funny part of it is that if you did not go to school, you'd have to go and work, which is why I delayed taking the ID.
Yes.
Because the minute you had ID, then the parents would say, it's Amalo Sebetsa way.
Sure.
So I delayed taking the ID to try and avoid going to work.
Sure.
And then when I completed my matric, then I had to go for 1 year. I worked in Klerksdorp supermarket.
Sure.
I was packing stuff, go supermarket.
Is that when you started playing for Klerksdorp City?
Klerksdorp City.
Okay.
My brother Thomas Mashume had just played. They got relegated from NPSL. Then I went on to join them. Also played for Flamingo and Chippa Masinga in Stelfontein. I think then that was a very confusing period for me.
Who were the soccer stars of that time as you're playing at Klerksdorp City?
Pacey was still there. Bennett Masinga had just left for Mamelodi Sundowns. Philemon Masinga was at Flamingo, but he was starting to develop into a superstar. There was a guy who came from...
Who was at Chiefs? Who was at Pirates at the time?
Okay, at Chiefs, at Pirates, Ace Kuse was at Sundowns then. I remember Doggy was at Chiefs.
So did you look at these teams and say, one day is one day?
You know, not really. Funny enough, there's a gentleman, Omo Carltonville, Zakes Mutau. We went to Ace Kuse's house in Randfontein. He was with Sundowns then. I had not started playing professional football. And I asked for Ace Kuse's jersey, number 12. Sundowns was wearing kappa then.
Sure.
I went with Zakes, and he said, hey man, Dodo, akofe mtakona jersey. The following year, that was 1988, I got into professional.
Wow.
Now, when I visited Zakes was saying to Ace, do you remember this fellow? And Ace says, no, this is the guy who was asking for your shirt a year ago. I used to also like Max Maponya. And I remember in Carltonville, when I was still working in the mine, I went on to buy jersey number 7. It was a Max Maponya shirt. The Olsen's Challenge, something like that.
Yes.
And you know what used to happen? They used to fake these shirts. They would get a beautiful gold and black shirt, but it's a fake in the mines. And we used to buy those in abundance.
Yeah.
Then from there, it was professional football, and the rest is history.
What were you doing at the mine at the time?
One of this mark.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I talk to football players, and those who are listening will tell you that.
So it burnt your hand,
I
this
bent
cutting torch.
man. You can imagine cutting torch, it's that gas cylinder.
Yes.
Yeah, young shy, young keep clever. Now all these scars, to me, they are scars that are physical. They are scars that are emotional. The deeper ones are the ones that are emotional. This one I can point at with laughter and joke about it.
Yes.
It's a great remembrance that I can see. But the ones that are deeper are the ones that I can remember, think about, and I sink deeper. You can only see in my face that this guy is going through some trauma when you look back and reflect. Because what we went through, whether as kids, as black people, even myself, my family, and all those. But one thing about black people, their strength in drawing inspiration in areas and environments.
And surviving.
It's unbelievable. Which is why your strength in most cases is your weakness. The fact that we are so strong and resilient, we've accepted to be punished.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yes. The other day I was listening to you when you were talking about being whipped to take... You know, when I read these African American stories and you look at their backs, they got slashes and all that. And we say yes to that. And we say we can resist. In fact, we should be saying no to that. Nobody deserves such abuse. But because of the strength that we carry, we absorb that, we take it, we carry it, but we're killing the rest of those who cannot. That's why we cannot rise and actually break through the ceiling.
Because we tolerate too much.
Too much tolerance is weakness, in as much as tolerance is strength.
We're hanging out with Bra Steve Komphela. Metro FM is where you're at. Very compelling. Well, do you have an answer for us, Coach?
Eat or be eaten.
Yeah.
I think my thinking, that's why sometimes I take so long to explain stuff.
Yes.
And sometimes for lack of explanation, then you would suffer. Background leads to context.
Sure.
when I assumed the responsibility was to understand that, okay, what is the brief? And the brief was such that let's create a system. And creating a system means you have to come up with templates. You would, with the senior team, form the team. It goes back to what I was saying in the forming, the storming, the norming, performing, excelling, and all that. But hey, uqalile futhi.
Yes.
In stages of development, which might also be immediately directed to South Africa as a nation, that we are forming a nation here. Now, your stages of development are clear. The first one is to form. And after forming, there's going to be the storm. Because it is natural, there's dynamics.
Yes. There's pain in birth.
Yes. Is South Africa going through a storming phase? We don't know. After a certain period, South Africa will go through a norming phase. After a norming phase, South Africa will be a performing nation. Whereas the rest of the other countries who are well developed, the Western democracies and all those, they are more at excelling phases. But at some stage, they must have been at performing, they must have been at the norming, they must have been at the storming, they must have been at the forming.
Sure.
This was mentioned by some guy in 1965. And today it is still applicable. Now taking the same and bring it to Chiefs. You form a team, a system. In the process, there's going to be the storm, which we went through the last season, which was a season where my second season. And then after the storming phase, and then it got to the norming phase, where now you're saying, gentlemen, now we are okay, out of the dust, we can perform.
Yes.
Where we are, Chiefs, is at a performing stage. But prophets of doom, or those who don't want to listen to logic, or those who don't want to talk to reality, will say, hi, aiko. But only time will tell.
True.
So this team will perform, and then after performing, it will excel. After excellence, it's adjournment, it dies. But Chiefs is not going to die, because Chiefs has just laid a very strong foundation with under 15, under 17, under 19, MDC. Now, when you see the MDC team playing, the system is such that it reflects the values of what the senior team is likely to give.
Yes.
Now, when you have your Ntiantia, your Ngobos, your Yusuf Banting and all those kids, they are just about to get into... Now, Chiefs, the generation that we're sitting on, which is a generation, Yabo Moon, Yabo Khatebe, Yabo Ngezan, Yabo Meiwa, who are 18, 19, 20, give 10 years to that kid to be 30 and stop playing. By 30, Abo Ngobo, they would have been matured. So Chiefs won't die. Then you've developed a system that is sustainable.
True.
But there'll be a rebirth.
Yeah, it's of an eagle.
Yes.
Is South Africa ready for a process of long-term planning? We
want results now. We want results now.
2-minute noodles.
Sure.
Instant gratification.
Yes.
We don't want to go to school, as I said. Go to school 12 years. Go to varsity or whatever, do 3-year diploma and carry on and all that. No.
Yeah. Ifuna manje.
Now what I always say is that football is but a microscopic reflection of how society thinks. The ills that you see in society are reflected in football. When they fight at Mabhida, it might not have been as a result of the loss, but a result of how society thinks. Forget Mabhida. Look what's happening now as we're watching news.
Yeah.
It's not Mabhida. It's society now in action. But football must then be used as a vehicle to change society. During the times of apartheid, football was an instrument for change.
Yes.
So let's use football even now for change.
Sihle on Twitter says you are in denial. You failed at Chiefs.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that?
I've never been in denial. Failure. I don't know whether should I say first action in learning, which is a definition of something else,
Sure.
or saying what is put in front of you, did you achieve it or not? If they say to you, listen, qualify for the Olympics, qualify for Africa Games, develop players for Bafana Bafana, if you get 2 out of 3, you would call it a failure. If you're highly ambitious, yes it is. But if you look at what is it that you had to achieve, but football, unfortunately, is reflected on results.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
No, Lebala. That we did not win trophies, but fresh, one has, and I'm the first one.
Sure.
I go ahead on where there's fire when everybody else comes out on nanyangena.
Sure.
So I'll take it that in that regard, yes. But with time, I hope he will ask the same question without myself saying, no, we have no. By standards of Chiefs in terms of winning trophies and all that, it's okay. But if you look at the process, where the process was, maybe one thing that I failed to do is to sell a proper idea of this project. Where is the project?
The bigger picture.
Yeah, where's the project? Now, when you explain where the project is, yes, but are we patient enough to say, okay, let's see then the final one? But with regards to denial, not me. Me, I never deny. Even the hardest facts and truth. And acceptance is the first exit to survival. If you don't accept the fact that, hey, Ngosam, I'm struggling, you will struggle forever. First, you have to accept and never deny. And even if you see that no matter more I have a point, sometimes you have to give even where you're not supposed to, if you're humble enough. So I take that. Acceptance, I accept. Denial, no, not in my vocabulary.
Sandani quickly says, why did you overplay Kune while the other goalkeepers?
He's a top keeper. You can't deny the fact that he's a great keeper. We could have given the opportunity to Brilliant.
Sure.
There's a stage where both of them were injured, and then we used Bruce Vuma, who I thought did well under conditions, because we also had a lot of our defenders out. I'm sure we had about 8 to 10 serious injuries to players who were earmarked for first team action. But I think every time you play Itu, he makes the difference. And he's a national goalkeeper, without saying Brilliant is not capable enough. But with B, he had an ankle. He's still coming through that ankle. And when quality is there, you're tempted to use it.
But Steve, I think we have delayed the punishment enough. We have, we have a child ready to play against you.
Yo, Nkosam, I'm a dead man.
Good morning, Vivian. Thank you for holding. How are you?
I'm fine.
How old are you, Vivian?
7.
Vivian, we have Uncle Steve in the building. What's your first question for him?
My first question is, what is the last color of the rainbow?
The last color of
The
the
last
rainbow.
color of the rainbow, Bra Steve.
Vivian. Blue?
No,
Superstar you are.
What's the answer, Vivian?
indigo.
Indigo.
Indigo.
Indigo Kim. Okay, let me explain.
No.
Confusing one.
No,
It's
it's not.
indigo.
No, there's violet, there's indigo, there's blue, there's green.
Yes.
So
Indigo.
they're different.
Yes.
Okay. That one goes to you, V. Thank you.
Mpotli is a sports person trying to defend.
Okay, sharp.
Vivian, question 2.
What animal never blinks?
Which animal never
Never
blinks?
blinks.
Bra
Ha!
Oyachabula mang lemala ne?
No, I got the
You
same
got the same
question
question, yeah.
last
Okay.
week.
Fish?
Yeah.
V, fish? Vivian,
Yes?
Is it fish?
I said fish.
No?
No.
Oh, Nkosam.
Yeah, fish blink. What's the answer?
Frog.
Frog.
Frog.
But they are related, don't worry.
Oh, fish doesn't have eyelashes.
Eyelids.
Lashes.
No,
Lids, man.
no, because fish are not slay queens, so they're not going to have eyelashes. How?
I need to go to Google now.
What's your last question, Vivian?
And last question is, what is the 5th planet?
What's the 5th
The
planet?
5th planet, Bra Steve.
The 5th planet. Vivian, did you Google before you asked me these questions? Or what? Hi,
I
Vivian.
watch TV.
You watch good TV.
Oh, wow.
Your questions are too difficult for Uncle Steve.
Vivian, what's the answer?
Hey,
First stage.
Santa, Jupiter.
Jupiter. I should have taken a wild guess. I would got that one right.
In hindsight.
Vivian, congratulations.
3-0.
You
3-0. That sounds familiar. 3-0.
That sounds familiar.
Ingathi awufavi Chiefs yazi wena somis.
Must win.
He's a traitor.
Oh, siyawin.
Siyawin.
Thank you.
Vivian, who do you want to say hi to?
Thank you so much to my dad, my friends, and my mom and my twins. and my two sisters.
Oh, Mama.
Sweet.
Vivian, we love you, and thanks for playing with Uncle Steve.
Bye.
Love
Bye-bye,
you, V.
You know what I like about Vivian?
What?
Yeah.
So as Fenta was putting her on,
Yes.
Fenta says, please hold on for Uncle Fresh. She says, I don't want to play with Uncle Fresh.
Vivian had a target already.
Yes.
Yo, she should have asked me more sports questions.
People keep asking, why is Bra Steve calling Fresh Grootman? Kanti, who's older? Bra Steve is 5 years older than me, so...
Really?
Yeah.
But he calls me also.
Exactly.
I was
well.
born.
No,
Naman
but no.
resembles
I'm paying attention to the look. And
Eh,
the
look,
looks. No, like
Why? Does he look younger than
much
Fresh?
young. No, not fresh.
Bayalingana ngisho no Fresh. So
Yes, but he looks much younger than I thought you were.
I was
WhatsApp group.
born 1st July 1967. You can imagine. Kade ngikudla. but Somizi knows why.
Yes.
Last time I neko.
Yile wele secret.
Yeah, that's my secret.
Okay.
Sefuna
I
na.
see sex scene.
Eh?
It's not a sex scene.
Where was it? Kurinal.
Gym.
Oh, but
Hey, Somizi, why do you like creating scenarios where people must...
Okay, guys, your mics are off. Your mics are off. 23 minutes after 7. Fresh breakfast on Metro FM. Here's Rob Busy.
Indy's all about making smarter choices. So just for being a listener, we'll hook you up with a 1,000 Rand investment kickstart when you insure your life at getindy.co.za/radio, a department within Sanlam Life Insurance Limited, a licensed FSP. At Indy, we realize that life insurance should be less about death and disability and more about life, which is why we match up to 100% of your monthly premium and put it into an investment that creates wealth for your future. It's world-class cover and a growing investment from just 100 Rand per month. That's how you reinvent life insurance. Learn more at getindy.co.za/radio. Indy is a department within Sanlam Life Insurance Limited, a licensed FSP.
Bro Steve, did you ever think compellarisms would be a thing?
Eish, but Fresh.
Yes.
Not at all.
Yes.
And it is not deliberate.
Yes.
It is not by design, but it is just natural.
Yes.
And I don't know how this happens, but it has taken quite a few of us to look into it and think.
Yes.
Because at some stage I thought we were taken to a level of thinking. There's a stage where there was President Thabo Mbeki. He would make you think.
Yes.
I would never miss any of the speeches he would make, and our society would then engage in some sort of a debate, serious stuff. And one way or the other, we stopped thinking. We stopped. So these must make us think, and
Sure.
there's nothing as beautiful as thinking out of the box. Sometimes when you say stuff like that, you don't want to be direct.
Yes.
You're trying to be more diplomatic. George Bernard Shaw, you'd know better when he was making reference to a pig.
Yes.
When he was angry and he says, listen, you don't have to wrestle with a pig. You're going to get yourself dirty. And by the way, the pig loves it. When you listen to that, you're saying, but when you put context to that, you'd understand. Another example, when the chairman had a press conference yesterday, the Paris chairman,
Yes.
he spoke of, listen, I don't work in a zoo, and I cannot as a result be. He put a statement like that. But then you pause and say, what is he saying? Now, we must think. There's nothing. Thinking is cheap. I don't want when I'm dead here, then my brain must be expensive. My brain must be very cheap because it had been overused.
You've used it. We can't even donate it to science.
Please,
Because
just
it's on empty.
dustbin straight.
we've spoken about this before, and I'm asking you again on air with the entire nation listening. When is the book of Komphelarisms coming out?
I was about to ask that.
Yes, you just signed this beautiful one. You must help me. No, uchale no fresh, ne?
Yes.
But my problem is that where am I going to start? Nkosi yami.
At the beginning.
I'll help you start.
They say
in-
where you start is where it begins.
In the
Yes,
beginning,
at the beginning.
in the beginning,
I will publish that book.
I'm busy writing. There's one that I'm busy with. If I were to read you just a piece from that, but it's painful.
No,
It's painful. It talks to blackness.
Yes.
Because I can relate. And before the end of this show, I will read a little bit of that.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
So
Wonderful.
that you
Awesome.
can get a bit of how I think when I
Yes.
put. But my fingers tend to be so slow because the brain is so fast that by the time I end writing, the brain has secreted so much that, goodness me, come on, fingers.
Yes.
You gotta be fast.
Keep up.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'll have to say these things that they must be printed whilst I'm saying them.
Exactly.
Because writing is too slow for
That's
my
what
thinking.
Somizi did.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
Voice note, and then we will type,
Thank you.
and there won't be errors.
Ndikwazi nje.
It is time for the news at 8 with Angie Kumalo. Kid X featuring Shiano Sky. This is Auntie. The Metro FM Fresh Classic is coming up just after 8:30. We are housing you because it's a Friday. Every Friday we check out House Music Fridays with the Metro FM Classic. Famous Fresh Fridays with Steve Komphela. Former farm laborer, former mine worker, former teacher, former soccer player, philosopher.
Yo, Kosia,
Bra Steve.
Hallelujah.
I think I must pass on the rights.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no.
Great
Handle-
perspective, eh?
Give everything to Fresh.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with everything? I don't think I can handle everything.
No,
Too much responsibility.
I have a friend, I call him Cucumber.
I wonder why.
I wonder
Thank you.
why.
He is asking. He is asking what happened to his teaching career. He used to teach me science at PJ Smelane in Dobsonville, and also, have you thought of becoming a motivational speaker? So, 2 questions.
I think those must be directed to my boss there, Fresh.
How am I your boss, sir?
We just signed a contract. The contract is either verbal or...
Then I must,
Yes.
I must release your book.
You've been
There we go.
appointed.
Yes.
Yes.
No, but a guy packaged her nicely. The way
Yes.
some of the stuff he said before, I could not believe that this was said towards me. But
Yeah.
I appreciate. PJ Simelani, it was just before I left for Turkey. I was playing for Chiefs then, 1993.
So you were still teaching at the
I
time?
was still teaching.
Yes.
I taught at Klorong in Kwakwa from 1990 and then 91, 92, and then I came to Johannesburg 93 playing for Chiefs. And then but when I left for Turkey, I had an account, bank account with one of the South African banks here. I wouldn't mention a name. I closed that account. I gave my bank book to my mom to say I'm going to start a new life.
Wow.
And she just said, "Imali engaka mntanam?"
Yeah.
Then I'm sure I don't know how much I had in the bank account, but it was not even enough for me to buy groceries. But to her, it was a lot. So I closed that account, and then I started a new life. When I went to Turkey, I had to open a new account saying that the previous account she deserves.
Nice.
Exactly. So ndayeka ki teaching. I went on to become a football player, to become football coach. But the theory in teaching has just helped me to be more practical. So the logic in theoretical teachings has ascended to practical application
Yes, sir.
with football.
So, motivational speaking?
Kawundenzele yona mntaka mama tu.
Sense it.
Asiyenze mntase. Yeah, uzothatha ama-booking ne.
Tato, we're talking about Tato, your manager. Tato, here's a client.
Tato.
Sizathetha phaa sidibana khona.
Khangela man. Ene kungahanjwa nje masiye ku Fresh Seventh.
Bra Steve, what are you reading right now?
Let me quickly check. I just got a book, Ekamama, the late.
Yes.
That's the one that I was reading, 400 and whatever days.
Oh, yes.
So I was reading that. But there's a day where you guys were talking about who moved my cheese.
Oh, yes.
I went on to read that one again, and I was recommending it with Amachita Wetu at Lape.
Yes.
And quick, easy read. And that book assisted me as well as the cheese was moving. I had to make a choice.
Yes.
Who do I want to be?
Yes.
The Chiefs
Still
was
sit
moving.
there.
Maybe
hold.
you must rewrite it as Who Moved My Chief.
My cheese.
This is creativity at another level. I've never heard a man create things like this. God bless you.
So what are you reading to us, Bra Steve?
The one that I was reading, 491 Days,
Yes.
by Mama Winnie
Mama
Mandela.
Winnie,
The
yes.
stories there are painful.
Yes, sir.
Painful. But what I'm writing myself, I'll read it's chapter 3 of the book that I intend writing.
Yes.
It says in chapter 3, whenever a black person is given a platform and an opportunity to thrive, there's a general tendency to not only disrespect them, but to emphatically defy. If, however, defiance does not work, they have to prepare themselves for smear campaigns and insults. Any self-respecting black man must accept this and should by no means try to stop it, because it will waste their time and they will lose focus. Wherever you are, the burden of being black shall always follow you. Some of us are fighting a cause we do not understand, and defeat follows because we place low value on our lives. We cannot allow ourselves to submit to ourselves as a people non-existent. In all our attempts of recovery, like in Isaiah chapter 19 verse 14, we are like a drunkard man staggering in his vomit. We are at pains to find stability and find direction, though our compass is not working. We're trying to help ourselves so as to help others, and you cannot help them if you don't understand their struggles. Not only do we need respect, we need to seek deeper respect and understanding. And then the rest follows. It's deeper, it's sharper, but it makes you think.
How many chapters are down so far?
Hey, I can't get this thing finished. There's another one that says...
You'll never finish, Brother Steve. You must decide, I'm done.
Maybe it will come in volumes.
Yeah.
It will come in volumes.
Or encyclopedias.
What's your core drive for this book? What are you hoping to achieve with it?
A deep, realistic message to everybody, coming from someone who comes from Norway, who's been in an environment that is completely different from this kind of thinking. Sport people hardly think like this, but they can inspire people to understand this kind of thinking. Now, when you write, the pain you suffer, you accept, but you're saying, out of my pain and my strain, who can gain?
Okay. Is the book going to be about your life, or is it a look at the world through the eyes of Steve Komphela?
Done, Angie. Done. When I get your perspective to things is unbelievable. And you sometimes go so deep. Mina, I'll be saying, this is what happens to me. Can you see myself? Can you see yourself in me? Then it becomes easier. You take the burden where you allow yourself to be slashed, to be hammered, in the best interest of those who will accept punishment, with hope that there is a breakthrough. That's what I want to see happen, which is why sometimes I love pain. I enjoy pain, because my struggle, my pain, is inspiration to those who are watching. You know, when you had gone through your own little troubles a day before, when you wake up the next morning, you read a paper that, this, Steve, this and that, you feel less pain because of the magnitude of my pain. True. So I want to see myself enjoying the higher degree of pain that the rest of those who are below me can draw inspiration.
Now, Coach, speaking of drawing inspiration, we've seen this many generations in football where you have footballers such as yourselves who went overseas, they amassed great financial freedom in inverted commas, and they're able to sustain their lives. Yet you still have footballers who will somewhere down the line be paupers. And you ask yourself, Hore, in the prime of your career, you were the be all and end all. What's your thoughts on the lessons that are not being learned?
Bra Steve, hold that thought. We'll come back with an answer after this. Steve Komphela is on Metro FM's famous Fresh Fridays. Good morning.
Rob Beasy, this is Fresh Breakfast Traffic.
Thank you, Rob Busy. Love your work. We'll chat to you again on Monday. We're hanging out with Steve Komphela. This is Famous Fresh Fridays on Metro FM. Major League featuring Casper Nyovest. This is Utando, 24 minutes after 8. Famous Fresh Fridays on Metro FM. We're hanging out with Coach Steve Komphela. Mpo earlier on was asking about finances in soccer. Because you went to Turkey,
Yes.
you came back,
Yes.
and you've relatively stayed comfortable. How did you manage it? And those that fail at it, what are they doing wrong?
We all fail, but fresh, and it's something that we seriously need to consider. The fact that, as you said, of air, that if you're spending 100 rand from hand to mouth, you do the same with 100,000 rand. The financial discipline and management, we need to be skilled. Where
did you get the skill?
Maybe the discipline.
Oh yeah, nice car by the way.
Which one?
Nice suit.
Oh, Chalekopa, please don't. Don't go.
Nice suit.
Ndiyabulela, ndiyacela khawuthethe
Umhle
nami.
unxibe kakuhle.
Hey, ndimelekile.
Welala.
Uyacanga namsebenzi uyi-statistic.
You know.
Umele kube mhle uvasi unuke kamnandi.
Wemntana nalapha ikanto yakho pha ngaphandle.
Ndiyabulela, yeah.
Lapha ikanto yakho
Masi i-posh picanto, ne?
I was referring to the supercar, but carry on.
Which one? I asked again.
Well, now the other day you were complaining about filling in gas in your big machine.
Yeah.
About you couldn't just sustain it. You should have left the car or so
Because I couldn't sustain it.
You're wasting Tato's time. I'm supposed to be responding to questions.
Please carry on, coach.
Please, no pressure, please. I think it doesn't only happen in South Africa. Whether you go to NFL, NBA, top athletes, they squander this money. Is it financial literacy? Maybe the discipline of my coming from teaching. You get your salary and all that. You get used to the order, the discipline to maintain a certain way of doing things financially, and laying a foundation as well. When you have a stronger foundation, then you can start building going forward. So most of the time, we athletes come in. You are the star. You come from nowhere, and you've got all these people who are hanging around you, the friends you have, and you don't understand that you are a business. You are a business. A business entity must have its finances running inappropriately. If there's no income, you can't have expenditure. But with us, we don't care. And you think that, no, your career is forever. It's only going to last for 10 years. So that's where we go wrong. Now, what I think should happen, maybe even the Players Association, consider literacy. Because when you go into a job, you get orientated, you get introduced, you get interviewed. The same should happen with finances. Because if a kid comes from nowhere and all of a sudden gets a signing on fee or whatever, and he earns 50,000 rand, please, let's all be realistic.
You are going to go a bit crazy.
It hits them.
And
we come from a background of having nothing. Now you are at the position where you can go buy a car, buy a house, you go into the dealership, you buy this car, uti insurance, okay, so that you can get it off the showroom. As soon as it gets out, you cancel insurance because you never had the opportunity to sit on top of this big machine, the leather that smells so nice. It is an opportunity for you. But then there's a responsibility that you must understand that the career lasts maybe for 10 years. And then after 10 years, what happens? So it is a serious problem. And I hope our athletes and football players regard and consider themselves as business and run your financial affairs as business and invest not in high risk areas, because your money, you must look after your money.
A car is an investment. And why you get in the same car in 3 different colors?
It's a depreciating asset. Why don't you get a fixed asset which appreciates? Invest your money where there's less risk and higher return. But somebody must teach you about that.
True.
I could not go to the bank and apply for bond then. But now I comfortably do that because I'm now used to it. So finances are key and important, but we need to be guided through. Most of us don't have the luxury of being guided through finances.
So the estate you're staying at, was that Turkish money?
Hey, you have my profile. You fresh.
He's been stalking you.
It's a nice estate.
Hey, fresh.
I'll give you a second to think about it, Bra Steve. We'll be back 29 minutes after 8. The Metro FM Fresh Classic is next. House Music Fridays. Metro FM Fresh Classic. This is Harrison Crump with I Need Your Love. House Music Fridays. I'm told Bobby Motaung loves house music. We happen to have Bob Steak on the line. Well, Bob Steak.
Morning, Fresh.
My man, are you trying to take the coach back? What's going on, brother Bob Steak?
Yeah. Ungangenzeli inkinga, please.
On your show, let him inspire, let him keep going, let him talk to people, let him teach people, let him be a teacher.
Yes.
He's always been a great teacher. We miss that man. We miss him. Kabila.
Bra Bobby.
It's been a great one this morning, guys, listening to you guys. Fresh, your show rocks, my man.
Bob Steak. A lot of people are
brother.
saying, why did you keep coach for 3 seasons?
Well, the man has a pedigree. Unfortunately, in football, you judge by cups, by results. And unfortunately for Steve, we never achieved that goal, that part of the goal.
Yes.
But if you look at the team itself, you look at the organization, the structure, the plan that we had with Steve implemented fully. We don't have any regrets when we worked with Steve. Obviously, with supporters and ourselves as well, our achievements in football is more about cups and results. But the man has done what we had planned with him, looking at the development structures, looking at integration of players, looking at the whole football structure itself, and the professionalism that we've always upheld. And I think Steve has done tremendously in terms of the future of the club. For me, people will see results, not now, but for the next 5 years. We'll get another coach now. We'll get other players coming in now to contribute as well. But definitely, Steve has laid a foundation which will last us. It's a legacy that he has left with us, which people will only see, I think, in the future, not now.
Yeah.
Not with immediate effect, because people don't see the broader picture in terms of what we're trying to build here.
Sure.
But I think in the near future, people will reap the rewards of what Steve has done for us.
Tell us about that final conversation in Durban. How did that go?
Bob say, please be careful. Don't get into play.
The final conversation
Yes.
was when I was firing him.
Yes.
Not for the first time, please.
Not for the first time.
Thank you.
When I was firing him, I said, man, it's unfortunate. It's with immediate effect. You have to step down, brother. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing. Obviously, it was clear that there's no cap for us. The plan that we have has ended its journey. And Steve will always be in our hearts, the Chiefs. Steve will always be part of the brand. For us, we take pride in developing our own players, former players, and our own coaches in South Africa. I think we've set the trend in terms of, whilst other clubs have got local coaches, but in terms of our own, former player and Chiefs, that is achieved. I think wherever Steve is going now, he's matured, he's nurtured, he'll be successful.
Sure.
Now, Bob Steak, a lot of people were wondering, after the whole matter at Moses Mabhida, you literally had 3 matches left. Why could you not keep him on for those 3 matches and then, let him ride out his contract?
I think we must make a reality check. What happened in Durban could not be acceptable in terms of responsibility. And they're looking at Steve's life and everybody's life, the player safety and the supporter safety.
Yeah.
We had to make a call, and we had to make an immediate call. Our intention was clear that we'll obviously review everything at the end of the season. But unfortunately, the circumstances warranted us to act immediately and promptly. And obviously, it was through the safety of everybody. I mean, we've got a responsibility on our hands for our fans, for players, for the coach, for ourselves, and also we care about our supporters. That was not the Chiefs' way. That was not the Chiefs' culture. And we could see that there's nothing we could do, obviously, to accede to the call.
There's no love lost, though.
There's no love lost. Love and peace at Kaizer Chiefs, my brother. There's a bigger journey ahead. And I think we also have a challenge of a bigger journey coming.
Sure.
And we hope that only time will tell in terms of achieving the goals that we always planned. And it's been a journey from Stuart Baxter to Steve Komphela, and what we're going to embark on going forward. And I think we're looking forward to a great time in Kaizer Chiefs family as well.
Bob Steak, thank you for the call. Thanks for listening.
Sports journals, please credit us for that little interview.
For the little
Bra
Steve, let's talk about Durban. It can't have been easy. Take us through the emotion of that day, from the end of the game to the riot to stepping down.
I think not only Durban, how we...
And the abuse that you've suffered for 3 seasons.
Dignity is key.
Yeah.
You don't have to lose respect because others don't have. The fact that... But again, I understood clearly that apart from myself as a person, as a coach, the position at Chiefs as well, there's always pressure. If you're president of the country, when they start demanding things from the president, they don't demand from you, but from the president. And that helped me through an acceptance of the fact that, listen, the kind of person that you are, you can easily be identified with. and insults can be thrown easily. And you accept that, because sometimes when people easily identify themselves with you based on the culture that they come from, that I can identify with you and the culture I come from is such that I must not appreciate myself. Chances are I'm not going to appreciate you. So that prepared me throughout. And I used to read a lot of stuff that talks to how we've come along as people. And Durban was no different. It happened in PE. It happened a week before at FNB. I still have the picture of the same. I don't want to call them in a manner, in a way that is disrespectful. The same people who were there. I have the picture. I look at it and say, but this guy, how could a normal human being think like this? But then it was Durban. But with Durban again, I strongly believe it is a reflection of society. And it did not stop in Durban. It is still happening. But society must change. Maybe this is where we are now the best teaching aid or a tool or a message that talk to society. The reflection of Durban is now reflecting in society. Can you talk to society to have patience, have discipline, and have the same mechanism of development that they established in destruction? When we wanted to get rid of apartheid, we're very united and very strategic.
We had an end goal.
Yes. Then let's have purpose, unity in purpose, in moving towards obstacles that we can reach a positive light. We should not be destroying. It is in our hands. Can we then develop it further? Can we get out of the storming phase, reach a norming phase, so that we can go to a performing and excelling phase?
Sure.
It is just that. But Durban was not easy. One thing that I felt bad about is abuse of those poor people. Here's a security guard. This person comes there wearing their beep, holding a post, doing their job. You've come here to watch a match, or you've come here with your own intentions. But the person standing there does not deserve that. This is where I would say, better go for me than go for innocent people. The very same person you're hammering is somebody's mother, somebody's father, somebody's brother. Would you accept the same if it were to be done unto you? Do unto others as you wish them do unto you. Think before you act. I found that to be very disruptive, ill-disciplined, and football does not need that. Then society must look into society itself, reflect, rectify, so that we can become better society.
Have you ever feared for your life?
Next. That is, listen, that is the ultimate. There's one certainty. With coaching, you're going to get fired and hired. That's a given. With life, certainly the minute you're born, there's a certainty you're going to die. How it happens should not matter. A lot of our people have paid the last price in the best interest of us. How dare you, Steve, want to be so selfish that you protect yourself and expose others? Rather, you go in the best interest of saving the rest. For me, if it meant that I go, that others must prevail. Amen.
8:48, Steve Komphela on Metro FM. More when we come back. Mafiki Zolo and Yemi Alade ofana nawe. 8:52, Fresh Breakfast on Metro FM. Our guest for Famous Fresh Fridays is Coach Steve Komphela. We can still call you Coach, Mus.
Yeah.
Steve?
Okwangoku ndizawivuma. Ayika-expire kaloku.
Yes.
Angeke.
Quickly, Bra Steve, let's talk about family. Yes, family life. When did you get married? What was it about Mem?
I met Mem at college.
Yes.
It's your College of Education.
Yes, sir.
And since then, the rest is history.
What was it about Mem
Mem
had you feel compelled to share that?
Compelled.
Yes, compelling and compelling.
And did you say to her, time and ability dictates?
Yeah, you have
that
to
I take this moment.
No. Those were the days.
Yes.
But no, by WhatsApp or Twitter. Hey, no. You have to go there, write a poem.
Yes.
I'll go there, say stuff that she will end up looking at you, but having other thoughts, going deeper and understanding.
Yes.
And by the time they wake up, they would have long brushed the ground and said, ke a promise.
And
then you're gonna have second round where you come in marum promises, and then okay, ke a dumela. and you're still not sure that this thing is on.
Yes.
But since 1988 up until today, it's
Yes.
been that long. I have 3 beautiful daughters.
What's the secret to that longevity?
Acceptance that you are wrong,
Yeah.
that she's never wrong.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah, that's it.
Amen.
I think beyond anything,
Yes.
from any position, anything that happens, find fault in oneself first.
Yeah.
The minute you find fault in yourself, you will see some remorse and sympathy from them to say, but no, asiena. And then you survive. And I think as a person who's always out there in public,
Yes.
one thing that we need to master is to keep our private matters private. And it lasts longer because unfortunately they want you. And any opportunity you give to them, they will use that to
Yes,
kill you.
sure.
So the little ammunition you give to them, the better for you.
How did your family handle the abuse you suffered at the hands of some of your supporters?
I remember my daughter was saying to me, Daddy, thank you for not bringing us too close to this. I can imagine what's happening. And we've orientated them. I've made them aware that, listen, my life is not the life for you guys. Leave me there in my space. Let me face the music and the fire.
Yes.
Stay out of it. But sometimes when you come in, they say, but I remember the younger one was saying,
How old are your daughters?
10 and 14, 15 and 22.
Okay.
So the youngest one, over 10, there was a show on TV. So I don't normally switch on when I know that there's negativity coming. I'm a positive person. If I've got nothing positive to say, I just keep quiet.
Yes.
And I request the same from others. If you got nothing positive to share with me, please don't share anything. So there was something going on, and then she comes to, Daddy, why are these guys so mean? And I knew that, oh goodness me, they're hammering me again. I said, what happened? But why do they speak so ill behind your back? I said, no, don't worry, it's my job, girl. Don't. So making them understand that the life I'm in is ruthless, and then I'm keeping them, and they thank me for that. Sometimes even at school, they refuse to say, "Kibanaba Steve Komphela." When somebody picks up that, are you Steve Komphela's daughter? Says no, and then they tell me, Daddy, there's this guy who was asking me, are you my father? And then I said, no, you're not. So that they have come to understand that, to me, is a relief. And even though people very close to me, they're hurting, they feel bad. And the only time I feel extreme pain is when I see others paining because of me. Me, I don't care about myself, to be honest. But when I see somebody, when I see somebody suffer, I feel like, no, then I feel the pain. So if you don't want me to feel the pain, don't show that as I feel the pain, you see me. Leave me in my pain.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want any sympathy.
What does Steve Komphela fear? What's your biggest fear, sir?
My biggest fear is not a fear. I don't fear anything. My wish is for black people to rise, understand their worth, and should not be afraid to understand that they are equal and even above any other race. But unfortunately, for 400 years, we had been put in a scenario, in a situation where we were made to feel inferior. There were 3 kids on CNN yesterday who had gone for a project with NASA. They were all black. And in their project, whilst they were successful, they went to the finals. It was hacked. They're all black. Now I'm saying, does this happen because these kids are black? And now my wish is that our story must be a story of unity and pride, not a story of prejudice. And we should say no to anything that drags us back. And awareness, and let's get educated. Because only through education that you get enlightened. And if you are enlightened, you get emotionally stable and stronger. And if you're emotionally stronger and stable, you have faith. And when you have faith, nothing shall move you.
Psalms.
Wow. Hey.
Now.
I wanted to ask just a stupid question, but were there players that didn't get along, especially with Chiefs camp, like that were in the same team that did not get along?
At Chiefs?
Yeah.
Chiefs is a hell of a brand. It's unbelievable. They everything is seamless. And at no stage if there is, not that I know of, but nothing. There's harmony, there's tranquility.
But it's not that you would tell us, though.
No,
You're not going to tell us.
I wanted to make a confession, Guti. They were, and it was my fault.
Oh, wow. So easy, honestly.
So miss, you wasted SABC's airtime. How do you say?
So, miss, we would like our 1 minute
please,
back.
out of order. You have to pay back the minute.
How?
Oh, gosh.
I love you,
What is your dream for yourself for this year and going forward?
My ultimate dream is to refuse to be looked at as failure. Because one thing that those who are responsible for reflection, one thing they can master is to point at something that gives hope and shoot it down, that there should not be any sign of hope for a particular nation. My dream is to see things come through, and that it should also inspire the rest of those who coming from behind. Because if a black man tries to get into something and they almost out to get it right, it gets shot, that there should not be any beacon of hope. Nothing must give any hope to these people. So all that I wish for is that I must break through and still remain a symbol of hope, that our people should not despair.
Brother Steve?
Amen.
I think we need 10 hours with you.
Absolutely.
Hey, you need the rest of your life.
The listeners say this is
Amen.
round 1,
Yeah.
Bakopa round 2.
First half.
I almost said something and again 9 o'clock.
And we must still have injury time.
I remember I was fighting in one of the dressing rooms, and I told players that, hey, it happened once. It's happening for the second time. I don't do exactly that. I can't get first round, second round. Hey, only once. I don't do 2 rounds.
If you do it right the first time, you don't need to do it again.
second round.
Once bitten, twice shy. Hey, asivaleni madoda kusemina abantwana bavukile.
Standing ovation.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Komphela is about to leave the building, leaving you with a thought for today. In the immortal words of Steve Komphela, if you do round 1 right, you don't need another round. Have a great day in spite of yourselves. The bridge is next.
Indie's all about making smarter choices. So just for being a listener, we'll hook you up with a 1,000 Rand investment kickstart when you insure your life at getindie.co.za/radio, a department within Sanlam Life Insurance Limited, a licensed FSP.